All right, so yesterday we spoke on the excitement, the hype. It feels like that feeling for sneakers is back early here in 2025. So we're going to keep that rolling as we discuss an upcoming release, a controversial one at that, one that I feel like is so important. It actually is going to set the tone for the future of Jordan Retro releases moving forward. Plus, we're also going to be talking New Balance as recently they just boasted some very impressive sales figures as well as teased an upcoming release, one that many people should be excited about as it comes from one of their top collaborators. So what's going on, everybody? It's JA. Salute to you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So of course, Jordan Brand, they're going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary, which means we can expect to see a whole bunch of great pairs dropping as well as a few surprises here and there, just like them Nigel 4s that we saw yesterday. And as far as one of the biggest releases to celebrate the 40th anniversary, I feel like this one's so special because this is where it all started. We got the Jordan 1 85 Bred. Now, if we take things all the way back, if we jump in our time machine back to the Stone Ages in 1985, I guess this was a fresh time when Nike had just signed Michael Jordan. He was rocking the Airships, but they developed the first signature model in the Air Jordan 1. Now, at the time, the black and red color scheme, or as we now call Bred, violated the NBA's uniform guidelines. So what Nike and Jordan Brand, they had to do, or it wasn't even Jordan Brand at the time, what Nike had to do was they had to add a little touch of white in there, and that's how we got the Chicago colorway. But as far as the Bred color scheme, Nike, they were geniuses. They were definitely ahead of their time when it comes to the marketing. They simply created a promotional ad, a commercial, letting you know that the NBA actually banned these sneakers, but you could still wear them. So they were years ahead of the game. We got the Jordan 1 85 Bred. It seems like what they're doing with this release, they're trying to reiterate the story, bring that storytelling full circle for the new generation or for some of you older heads who may have forgotten about it. So we got the Jordan 1 85. Now, what's so special about this release, which is slated to drop coming up February 14th, is apparently this is supposed to be the most true to form that we've actually seen the Jordan 1 Bred release since its original drop back in 85. Apparently, they're using a better quality leather, a leather quality that's never been used on any other Jordan. They're making some slight tweaks to the shape and everything like that. So this is a very nice release. Now, where the controversy comes into play would have to be with the $250 price tag. Now, these are going to be dropping right around NBA All-Star Weekend, and I feel like with Jordan Brand raising the price all the way up to $250, it's almost like a social experiment to see if people will actually still cop these at that crazy markup price. And the reason that they're giving us, that they're explaining, which they actually said to Complex, quote, for Jordan to up these prices up to $250, they're saying that Jordan Brand says rarity, supply, and demand all plays into the factor of this release. Now, I'm not even gonna lie, $250 is kind of crazy, but if you look at it from Jordan Brand's point of view, last year, a lot of Jordan Retros, or Jordan 1 specifically, were sitting where Jordan Brand had to heavily discount them. So with them bringing back the very first pair, the OG, one of the most highly coveted Jordan 1s of all time, I feel like what they're trying to do is preserve the legacy, with a limited quantity release. But in return, to make up for those margins, upping the price to $250, which if you guys buy this pair for $250, I feel like this lets Jordan Brand know that they could go ahead and up the price for all of their retro models. So I feel like this is an important release which will set the tone for the future of Jordan Retro releases. So Complex posted this little unboxing review or everything like that. So let's go ahead and see what the people have to say. BU said $250 for Jordan 1 is nasty. Exactly how I'm feeling. Monte White said definitely the craftsmanship on the 2025 Air Jordan 1 85 is on point, making it a must-have for sneakerheads. Okay, so we got some love right here for this Jordan Brand classic. Now, this next dude put $250 for Jordan 1 in 2025 is a hard sell, which I do understand, but you guys have to remember this release more than likely is going to be extremely limited. So I feel like when it comes to limited availability for a Jordan Brand classic like that, price may not actually be a huge factor as people are willing to dish out this money for resale. So why wouldn't you pay the full $250 for retail? Now, Real Sturdy, he said not worth the $250 price tag. Derek Rudolph said $250? Sheesh. Zach put, will probably bite the bullet. $250 is crazy for retail. Jay said cop. Mr. Chow said I need 3 pairs. And then Sincere, he seemed to be an old head right here, comparing the 85 to the 2025. He said a lot of youngins under here that only discovered Bred once because Kanye rocked them and think a fake tumble on leather makes it quality. These look damn near perfectly executed. Won't be able to assess leather quality in hand, but man, it's looking like they're getting my 250. All right, I feel where you're coming from, bruh. So it seems like a lot of people are kind of shocked by the $250 price tag. But then again, as I mentioned, based off the limited availability factor, I think that people that actually want this sneaker will have no problem dishing out the 250. Now, as far as Jordan 1 releases in 2025, outside of these Breds, I think they're dropping these shattered backboard ones as well. Another crazy OG fan favorite. There's probably some other pairs that I'm forgetting about, but it seems like Jordan Brand is trying to preserve the legacy for this classic model, which at one point was at the forefront of streetwear, but over the last couple of years seems like maybe they've overdone it. Maybe it feels a little too oversaturated. So I feel like they're maybe trying to scale things back a little bit. Now, as far as the release date, this will fall in line with the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities, which is historically known for being a big weekend for sneaker releases, of course, with basketball and sneakers coinciding, meeting in that one spot right here. Now, for February, the releases are stacked. We got the Jordan 5 Black Metallic, the reimagined pair, scheduled for the 8th. We got the Kobe 6 All-Star drop-in coming up on the 13th. Then, this is the big drop coming up on the 14th for the Bred 185. And then they're following it up with the Black Toe Reimagined, which will actually be dropping the following day on the 15th. Now, you guys remember when these Black Toes were supposed to drop last year? Some pairs did drop early. This sneaker was flamed notoriously for being a brick, which is kind of crazy because, again, this is a classic Jordan, although it is in reimagined form. But it feels like what Jordan Brand did was they kind of pushed this back strategically. I feel like with the Bred 185s being extremely limited, a lot of people are probably going to strike out more than likely coming up here on the 14th, even with the $250 price tag. And then as a nice consolation prize, they're going to follow it up with the Black Toe Reimagines for everybody that missed out on that pair. So I feel like that's a good strategy from Jordan Brand, an effective way to roll out this sneaker right here. And what do y'all think about the $250 price tag? Let me know what y'all think down below. As I mentioned, I feel like it is going to set the tone, for Jordan releases moving forward. Are you guys going to let them pull this one off? All right, now in other sneaker news, we got New Balance boasting some very impressive sales figures. So this one right here is for all of you New Balance haters. Now, as far as their global annual sales for 2024, New Balance reported sales of $7.8 billion, which is absolutely crazy. This is a big increase, actually 20% over last year. As for the global sales last year, they did $6.5 billion in 2023, and then again here in 2024, $7.8 billion, which is absolutely crazy. Now, the reason that New Balance has been able to do this because, at one point they were just known for their running sneakers, being like a US-based company, more so known as like a dad or a grandpa shoe for like older people. You guys know the jokes, but over the last few years or so, New Balance has definitely made waves in the hypebeast world. But of course, we can't discredit the DMV, who have always been having New Balance, putting them on the map. So you guys already know, much love to the DMV. Now, as far as New Balance, the reason they've been able to make these big leaps within the hype world is for several different factors. Of course, they just put out great quality sneakers, but some of their high profile collaborators, we got to give huge props to Joe Freshgoods as being one of the first collaborators to really put New Balance on the map, put them in front of the eyes of, a whole bunch of people that didn't previously rock New Balance sneakers. And then you got to give props as well to Action Bronson for like carrying the torch right now. I would say currently probably the biggest brand collaborator with New Balance for the moment. But we also got to remember New Balance has made some great relationships with boutiques all across the country. And I feel like one of their most impressive things that they've done is one of the most underrated factors would have to be their relationships with the major retail players. So we're talking Foot Locker, JD Sports, you name it. These are companies which used to carry nothing and rely on like Nike sales to heavily, move units. But now with Nike trying to go with this direct to consumer business, which seemed to backfire for them, a few years back, New Balance has really made huge strides. You walk into your local Foot Locker, JD Sports, you're going to see New Balance on all over the shelves. You're going to see people rocking them on feet all the time, whether it's the 1906R all the way to the 2002R. There's just so many great models. We can't forget about the classics like the 574 as well as the 990 series. New Balance just has such a wide, variety of great models, which I feel like some people would call them a trend, but just based off their legacy, the classics in their archive, and the way they continue to innovate as well, I would say New Balance is definitely here to stay. So they say that their brand goals are to become eventually a $10 billion company, which I would say is probably just maybe a couple of years off from that, as they did crazy sales figures. And what's even more impressive, they're saying that they're even holding back. They feel like they could do even bigger numbers, but they're being very strategic with their releases, you know, in order to not have everything oversaturated. So I feel like that's a very smart move. They're also doing great with their international sales. They got a big market in Europe as well as in Asia, an area where Nike has been lacking as of lately. So they got a real interesting mentality where they say act local but think global, which is really crazy if you put it into perspective. So that's something that I feel like a lot of you guys should maybe take in. So New Balance absolutely killing it. I know the haters are going to be mad right now, but New Balance is definitely here to stay, and I feel like they're slated to have another huge year. Now, I feel like last year the go-to silhouette for New Balance was the 1906 R, so we'll see in 2025 what will be the go-to model that they push. Now, what we do have is a teaser from Action Bronson. I mentioned he's probably the biggest collaborator right now with New Balance. Him and Joe Freshgoods, I would say, definitely are the two biggest collaborators over there right now. Well, it looks like he's teasing another 990 V6. So I think this will be the second unreleased 990 V6 that we've seen. So I guess we can expect to at least see 2 pairs dropping. I would think even more. Now, this one has another crazy color scheme, one that features colors that normally wouldn't go together. So we got some shades of tan. You got hot pink in there, teal. I'm seeing blue in there as well. So these joints go absolutely crazy. And again, for some reason, I feel like this just works. I don't know if it's just the Action Bronson hype or what, but it always seems like he finds a way to make all of these unconventional color schemes seem to mesh and just work. I don't know what it is, but it just works. So let me know what you guys think about this. Is the first impressions, as I think this is the first time we've ever seen this model actually shared to the public right here. So another huge year for New Balance. Drop your thoughts down below. Let me know, are you guys interested or excited for them Bred 85s to release? What do you guys think about the Jordan 1 this year? I feel like since them scaling things back can bring some of the hype and excitement back, but I feel like they just kind of killed it for the last few years or so like that. So drop your thoughts on a $250 Bred. Let me know what y'all think about these New Balance joints. I'll catch you guys next time. I'm J.A. Salute. Love.